So, welcome to the Hire Rockstar Talent Podcast. Today is going to be a summary wrap-up, the final episode, and then we're going to take a little time off. I have a couple of projects going on, and we're going to document the projects I'm doing. I'm going to open up a few more locations, and when I come back, I want to show you guys the whole process of how I did that. Everything from negotiating a letter of intent, to getting the financing, to working with the equipment companies, to working with the architects, the contractors, and then getting the business up and running and everything involved with that. You know, one of the things I'm trying to do is really get people to understand that lying is such a big part of our business today. And it's really causing a lot of havoc and a lot of disorder in our companies. Think about what lying really is in this context. You know, there's lies that maybe, you know, you tell a white lie, or there's a lie that maybe you leave some things out. But think about what happens in our organization. People come in every day and they tell us that they can do something. And then many times when they start, they can't do everything, which is fine. If we started from a foundation of, hey man, this is where you're at and this is the things that we got to do to get you up to speed to what you want to be, we could craft everything differently, but that's not what happens in our organizations. In our organizations, we have to kind of meander through, break down the lying. We have to uncover and expose things so then we can get back on track, and it costs us a ton of money. So I got a stat here for you. Lies in the workplace are expensive. So according to the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, a typical business, think about this, loses 5% of its revenue to fraud. Things like disengagement, stealing in every form, underringing, just outright theft where people just take things and money and put it in their pocket, or they steal products and goods, giving product away to friends and family, or outright taking products themselves, right? So all of this equates to $3.5 trillion a year for the restaurant and retail industry. That is massive. 5% of our revenue goes to just this stuff. And it's hidden in a lot of places. This is what we got to focus on. Now, what I'm going to be doing also is I'm going to be putting a 5-day challenge out there to help people with a few tactics, a 5-day challenge to expose and kind of recognize these liars, to detect these liars and the things that we can do to offset it. Now, if we just came from a place of truth, everything would be different. I'll give you for instance. So I had a kid that we just let go. And he came to the table, told us he had all this experience. And when he started working, we went through the whole process, onboarding him, started training, he was doing well. And then all of a sudden, the skeleton started coming out of the closet. He couldn't remember anything. He was making everything wrong, all the products. And the trainer came to me after about a week. Now think about the cost, right? All of the costs involved, the administrative costs, the recruiting costs, the cost to onboard him, uniform, training for him and the trainer, right? We're talking to the tune now of about $1,500. By the time I sat him down and said, hey man, something's not right here. There's something wrong and you haven't told us the whole truth. So just be honest with me, what is it? And then he confided in me that he had ADHD and a form of autism. And you know, my problem, now if I just would have started with that information, I could have done everything differently. But instead, he gave customers wrong products, you know, pissed people off. He lied to the crew. He lied to management and leadership. And he did all of this deception rather than just tell us the truth. And, you know, there's going to be people that are going to say, well, you know, people are nervous. It's scared. Bullshit. Bullshit. Start from a place of the truth if you really want to get what you want. By doing that, you just cost, it's a domino effect of all the costs and expenses. And it makes everything right. Now, my problem with this kid is I don't know if I can trust him. So now it becomes not a, can we turn him into the worker that we need? It's not a place of, is he capable? Because I think he is very capable. The problem is I don't know if I can trust him. And if you can't trust the people that are around you, what are we doing, right? What are we doing? This kid's working with money. He's working with our goods. Would you give someone the keys to your Lamborghini if you weren't sure if they had their license or not, or they could drive? This is what we're facing every single day now. So Couple of episodes that I want to recap here as we do kind of a summary. I'm not going to go through every single one, but there's about 5 episodes, and a couple of them are in bunches, that we talked about some key things, some real key things that I want to make sure, if you haven't watched them, that you go back and watch them. So on episodes 10 and 11, we talked about company culture and what that means. You know, a lot of people think about culture as this frilly Buddha crap, right? That's not what it is. Company culture is very specific around how we do things here. What do you do first? What do you do second? What do you do? How does it work? How do we do things? When you walk in the door, you do this, right? If you have a problem, you do this. If you're looking for more money, you do this, right? So it's all the things that we do, right? So I want you to learn and use the word culture correctly, what it's supposed to be used for, not the frilliness. Most people, they misuse the word culture, and what they're really talking about is atmosphere. Right? Well, culture is a place where people can come to work and they feel good and no, that's atmosphere. As a leader, environment is the things that we have to do to put people in that place, the context for people to get engaged and want to come to work. But the atmosphere is what you're talking about, not the culture. So go back and listen to episodes 10 and 11 so you can really get an understanding of company culture and what that means. Episode 5, does experience really matter? Now this is going to go back to lying. Right? You get a lot of people that come in front of you and they tell you they have all this experience, right? When the reality is they only can most of the time do parts of what they say. They can't do all of it. So lying, you got to remember, is the gap between who I am now and who I want to be. To fill in that gap, we lie about it. We overinflate things. And that's what I mean by when people tell you that they have experience, sometimes they're telling the truth, right? But they need to go out and do it. And there's ways to expose that. So think about it. If you have a person in front of you and they come and they say, oh, you know, I've done a few things and, you know, I've been in the business a long time and, you know, I think I'll do well at they kind of downplay it. That's someone telling the truth. When you get the other person that tells you that they did everything. I did everything for the owner. My owner didn't even have to come into work. They just sat at home and I did everything. I opened the store, I closed 8 days a week. I did everything. That's a liar. Most times what you're going to find is that person can't do half the shit they said they can do. So does experience really matter? Episode 5, I want you to check that out. Now, episodes 16 and 17, reviews. Reviews just don't work, right? Instead, we have to do things all the time. We have to have conversations all the time. We can't wait a year to have a hard conversation with someone if we need to have it now. So reviews are stupid shit. I want you to go back and rewatch episodes 16 and 17 as I shit on reviews and how they're the dumbest thing on the planet. I do what's called a pulse check. Where are you now? Where do you want to go? Let's talk about the culture, how we do things, and then take you through that. Because the path from you being from good to great is the culture and you executing exactly the things that we need you to do. We can make you better. But we're not going to be able to do it if we only sit down once a year. That's for offices and people that work from home. And even then, I don't think it works. I think it's stupid. But fine, right? That's the standard today that idiots out there in business still use. They use the annual review. I would rather talk to my people, whatever's needed, every month, every week, if that's what it takes, to get them to become better, to get them to become a rock star, to put them on the path to success, the blueprint to getting better and getting more of what they want, but aligning it to their actions. Take their goals and then aligning it to their actions. That's what's fucking important. So I had this girl, she wanted to go get an apartment. She wanted to move out of her parents' house and get an apartment. Great goal, love it. And then all of a sudden she starts requesting every weekend off. She trades shifts away. We schedule her for 40 hours because that's what she wanted. I set her up for success. She needed money. She needed consistent hours. I gave her the hours. And then we would turn around 3-4 weeks in a row. She's only working 18 to 20 hours a week. Her goal was not aligned with her actions. You see what I'm saying? If we have to wait a year for that, then we're spinning our tires in the mud. The whole thing is stupid. And I have to sit down and talk with her. And I have to show her that her goal, what she said she wanted, is not aligning with her actions. So she's a liar. She likes the idea of moving out of the mom's house and getting an apartment and doing all, but really she's comfortable and wants to go out and party and play, so she's a 28-year-old child. That's the reality of what we have in our workforce today. So we have to design a system around that, because that is what makes up the majority of our employees. I have a calculator. What I'd like you to do is go onto our website, hirerockstartalent.com, I've got a free calculator. When people say, oh, these employees coming and going are costing me a lot of money, there's so much stuff layered in there that I don't even think you realize how many things. You know, you may think you do, but there's stuff that's in there that you aren't even thinking about. So what the calculator will do is you go in, you put some criteria in, and it breaks it down for you. It gives you a real dollars and cents number, not these bullshit percentages. Oh, you know, this is 27%. What is that in money? What's coming out of my pocket? What am I losing in sales because of this? So that's what the calculator does. I want you to go check it out. And if you want to meet and talk, there's a schedule link there to schedule, and we'll talk about the results. Okay? Awesome. So this is a recap. We're going to come back next season with some really good stuff. And I want you to stay tuned for season 2. And hire me for your next event. I'd love to come in and talk to your people, right? If not just an event, maybe just a talk with some of your crew or just your leadership, right? To just sit in and kind of see and talk about people and how people act and interact and what you could do different in your company to fix this epidemic with lying that's really happening. And we've got tools and processes and systems that'll help you really turn things around and get a handle on this. Not because we want to beat up on people. We want better people. We want to grow people and expand them. And by doing that, we win. We have a better company. We have a better environment. We turn less people. We can depend on our people and we can go do something else. We can take some of our products to the grocery store. We can open a new location. We can do all these things if we have better people. The SMART system is the key to that. So, ciao for now. I will see you next season. Stay tuned for the 5-day challenge that's going to be coming up. And please, please go check out that calculator. Ciao for now. See you soon.